Welcome to Pairfect, where we explore the intersection of creativity and culture. I am Dinah Ventura. Today's episode features a truly groundbreaking event that's redefining how we experience art. At the end of October, of Echoes and Currents, an immersive art experience took over Green Sun in Makati. From live painting to underwater photography, digital projections, music, and performance art, this one-day event had a powerful theme, honoring the beauty and fragility of the ocean. It was a multi-sensory experience unlike anything we've seen in the Philippines. The visionary behind this bold project is a young, dynamic leader who is helping shape the future of art in the country. We're thrilled to have with us today. Please join me in welcoming the founder of Search Mindscape Foundation, Ayni Nuyda. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure and an honor as well.
Welcome. So, Ayni, you are the daughter of a very famous artist. Yes. Justin Nuyda. So, what was that like growing up for you?
Wow, my life was definitely filled with a lot of color. I mean, as apart from the paintings, but also with that being said, my father also had many passions.
Okay.
So just not about art, but also he loved butterflies, he loved food. He was just a very interesting person. So I had a very interesting childhood growing up as well.
I'm sure. So, did you ever dabble in art as well, being surrounded by art all your life?
I mean, art was a constant, but to me, I never saw it as a profession. I used to dance.
Oh.
That was my passion.
Okay.
I used to be a ballet dancer. But obviously, like life took a turn. I studied, took university, had a job. But art was somehow my means of refuge at times when I'm not feeling well. It was something that it felt like home to me. So that was the purpose of art in my life, more than it being a profession.
Okay. So, what did you take up in college?
So I have a double degree in organizational communication and applied corporate management from
Okay.
LaSalle. But I've also studied in a few countries.
Okay.
Like
Taking up what kind of courses?
so I took a lot of study abroad programs. I actually, while I was studying in Canada, in Vancouver, that's when I found out about Battle of the Brush, which is part of immersive art.
Yes, speaking of that, so can you tell us a bit about Search Mindscape
Foundation. Yeah.
Foundation?
So it was established, we're very young. So we established it in 2019 after I had some studies in Sotheby's Institute of Art. I wanted to kind of create a platform that I can call my own because I felt that my father has been, helping artists and also extending his arm and his leg in inspiring others. So I kind of want to institutionalize that. And that's why Search Mindscape, the name, is actually a tribute to the series of artworks that he created in his life. It's called Search Mindscape series.
I love that.
And the reason why is because he was always in search for his mindscapes, which are landscapes of his mind, because he's always been traveling and whatnot. So initially, the foundation was established to fund art residencies outside the Philippines, because my dad took a fair share of his time traveling to Europe, and when he came back to the Philippines, somehow his mind
Was
exactly, it's different. Like anyone else, like even with just traveling,
Travel
as
really
a
does
tourist,
that.
right?
Yeah.
So, but the pandemic happened, and travel was not accessible, and so we realized that we can actually create our own environments as well. It
Right
might,
where you are.
yeah, right where we are at
Yeah.
our home. And one of our first projects actually is the brainchild of Madge Reyes, which is Fifth Wall Festival, which is now
I remember
a movement platform. And what's fascinating is that it also taps on dance, which I have a
background.
a background
Yeah.
on, and it does have a soft spot in my heart. So we host that every year.
Yes.
And now it has a life of its own. So
Okay.
I'm very proud of Madge and Fifth Wall.
You're still
and
part of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
we definitely we definitely support it every year.
Okay.
That's one of our pledges in the foundation as well, because I feel like Madge, her team, it also took a village to create that. I feel like they're doing something great. So it's something that we want to keep
Support.
promoting and
Yes.
supporting.
Strengthen. No.
Yes.
So your event, your recent one of Echoes and Currents, why did you choose the ocean as the central
Okay.
theme?
It's very personal.
Okay.
Actually, you know, personally, I surf, I scuba dive, and the ocean, the water in general, has a very strong connection with me as a person.
Okay.
And we created a theme out of it just because I wanted to see how artists relate to it as
Flow
well.
together.
Yeah. I mean, we can always
Yeah.
create all these narratives, but at the end of the day, it's really deeply personal to me.
Why the ocean? I mean, do you love water? Are
I
you a
scuba
diver?
dive.
I see.
I love the ocean. I
Okay.
find refuge in the ocean. That's one of the things that transcends time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being in it, just being in the presence of it, being in the presence of nature in general.
It's very peaceful.
And also we needed to, from a practical point
Yeah.
of view, we needed something to tie the show together
Yeah.
because we're dealing with, at first I thought it was over 50 artists, but we
Yeah.
dealt with over 60 artists.
So that's my next question. Like, you put together so many different kinds of art forms. How did you curate? How did you come up with that selection?
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, it all started for our 5th year anniversary, because we turned 5 this year as well. That I wanted to bring an experience to the Philippines.
Okay.
So I've come across Battle of the Brush by Kevin, Sang, and Jaewon in Vancouver in 2012, 2011. And I've always wanted to bring that
That idea,
to
that
Manila
concept. Okay.
and that concept wherein painters paint live for a certain duration.
Yes.
And they paint in pairs. So it was a very collaborative
Paint off.
effort. Yeah. So, but what made it fascinating for me, because I've been to several over the past decade, is that there's no winner. There's no panel of judges. It's not a competition.
It's not a contest. Yes.
So it can be in a sense that syempre, everyone's like, we want to showcase our best. But at the same time,
it's like a performance.
it
also.
also feels like a performance, but it also, growing up, it somehow simulated a snippet of what it felt like to grow up with an artist who paints every day. And not everyone has the privilege or the luxury to have that. And it definitely shaped how I perceive the world. And I want to give the audience a snippet of that, but a little bit more curated. So it's a very interesting experience. So that's how it all started. And then from there, we were able to find a venue, which I'm very grateful for. David Lim, who owns Green Sun, and their family.
Yeah.
And what's nice with Green Sun is that it has the eye, and it boasts about its 360-degree video mapping capacity. And it's something that it's gonna be a shame if I don't get to utilize that.
Right.
And
The venue is very important.
yes,
Yeah.
which is then that kind of snowballed into something bigger. So we started bringing in digital artists, different facets,
Okay.
filmmakers, installation artists, underwater cinematographers, different types. And I found it interesting as well that, instead of playing a button to complement the art, then why don't we have live music as well?
Right.
So that's kind of the flow.
That sounds so overwhelming.
Sorry.
So you were responsible for curating, to I mean, designing the whole experience so it would be cohesive for the audience. So how was that like?
Of course, I built a team.
Okay.
So with part of the digital art, I brought in a number of artists with the help of Fran Aguila. Also, he brought in some artists.
Okay.
And then for photography, we have Bianca Natola, who brought in some amazing artists as well. We have Nick Lazaro, who curated the music. We do have, you know, our relationship with artists are vast as well, but we have these people to kind of expand our array of artists to work and collaborate with.
So was that something that you ever imagined when you were just starting to put it together? It's like,
yes, in a way, yeah. I mean,
did
not to that extent.
Seemed like it blew out of proportion.
I think it blew out of proportion in a good way, because we started off with 6 pairs of live painters.
Yeah, the battle of the
battle
brush.
of the brush participants. And then next we have around 20 digital artists, around 20 musical artists, and 20 photographers. So it kind of created, maybe next time I have to learn when to stop. But I feel like it's great because all of these artists have different styles, different genres, and also the audience becomes more diverse.
Yeah, so it's like really multi-sensorial, and I can't imagine. It's just so like a blast of sensory.
I guess it's really art on
elements.
steroids
Yeah.
in a way.
Art on steroids. That's a good way
Yeah,
of
for
putting it.
sure.
Okay.
Because every audience member would have a very different recollection of that night. Because every person has the option to engage in certain elements, engage more in the live painting if they wanted to, engage more with the
So they
live
could
music.
They could choose wherever
Yes.
their heart
So
took them.
it's nice to kind of it's an experience. It's an art event that really boils down in humanizing what art is all about.
So overall, you're happy with the way it turned out?
I think so. A lot of people were. I'm very proud. I mean, that's an understatement. I never thought that we'd be able to pull off, you know, something like this, and to
In
see
that
it
scale.
live. I mean, to see it executed, and because for the past year and a half, it's all a concept.
So it took that long to plan the
Yes,
entire
because
event.
it's a lot of people don't realize
Yeah,
that with art events like this, even in curation for that matter,
takes
a
time.
lot of the hard work goes into logistics,
I see.
not just
Yeah.
putting things together. You know, we have the Battle of the Brush from Canada who flew in. We have, with the other artists, we have like Charlie Co and people from Bacolod flying in as well. So accommodations, logistics,
Lahat,
coordination,
transportation,
lights and sound,
music.
ingress, egress, you know, and you know, like that doesn't even include the after,
All right.
you know, the post event,
Yes.
which is so important as well. So I think it's really an understatement, but logistics is key in all of these. Like, how do you move the art from one place to another, from creation to the home as well? So that has to be thought of.
Yeah. So that's something not a lot of people know. So okay, very interesting. I'd like to know more about that event, and if you're planning to come up with another one maybe next year. But before that, we'll just take a short break.
And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Tune in to Daily Tribune's show aimed at addressing the needs and problems of our OFWs from different corners of the globe. Hear about their plights and success stories every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube.
Straight Talk dives deep into pressing issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
Welcome back to Pairfect with Ayni Nuyda. So Ayni, the event, we were talking about your latest one, which was very, well, I guess it's mind-blowing. What was your term on
Art on steroids.
Art on steroids, yes. So first of all, the event featured both emerging and seasoned artists. So how did you balance showcasing both the new talents and the established artists? And why was this mix important to you?
I think I was able to balance it by just treating them equally. You know, artists
Yeah, artists are artists.
artists, like just as
Okay.
humans. And one of my inspiration really was the Saturday group of artists. Back in the day, my father was the
yeah.
youngest among all these legendary artists,
okay.
but they never saw him as a,
A newbie.
you know, like as a junior.
I see.
And
Okay.
this was actually what fostered and what made the art community a lot more substantial.
Yeah.
Is because, you know, you're stripping all the ego, stripping all of that
That's a good
pride.
one.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
And focusing on the content and the narratives behind the art.
Yeah.
I think that's what really adds value in the long run.
Yeah.
And this is something that we want to emanate as well and promote and foster.
Okay, so you really have a mission by doing something like this, right? Try to express something or send out a message there about the artists today and yesterday and in the future, right? So I'm really curious about how you came up with this idea for immersive art. Like, how was that something that you just thought up, cooked up in your mind from based on your childhood experiences? And well, somebody asked us earlier, is this your answer to the short attention span of the Gen Z today?
Maybe I'm a little bit Gen Z, no, but to answer it on a serious note, immersive art was not something I created overnight. It was, I guess, months and months, even years in the making as
An idea
that grew, and I found that this year would be the right time to execute. I think timing is key as well.
Yes.
But amidst the digital age, this is also my way of reminding people that everything's not a click of a button. You know, there's more to seeing and observing and immersing yourself in the arts and tapping into your five senses legitimately, like in
Very
a genuine
important.
in a genuine manner, in a way that it evokes feeling. I mean, you can insert any verb or adjective to the experience someone felt during immersive art, and it's valid. And that's what I love about it. In a way that it's so dense. I mean, in this day and age as well, with the short attention span and whatnot, I need to invest in really high impact
Yes.
events. And also for the artists, because this is not just for the audience, it's also for the artists to immerse themselves in environments that are not the usual, because
Not just the four walls in which they create.
correct, and because this
Beyond.
is when it becomes monotonous that way, or becomes routinary, that's when it limits the idea, conceptualization, all of these things. And we want to create something refreshing for the artist, even if it's just for one night. Because sometimes it only takes that one short moment to create a change.
Right. So, what kind of feedback did you get from the artists about this event?
Well, all some of them are even, when's the next one?
I'm sure. So that means they really had a great time.
Yeah, because the if someone was there, I think I would speak on behalf of every other person who was there, that the feeling was very wholesome. The feeling was not intimidating, but
Oh, that's
you're
new.
yeah.
Usually people regard art as a,
There's
you
a
know,
boundary,
yeah,
there's a
it's
wall.
not-
And what's nice is that it breaks down certain unnecessary barriers between the artists, the audience, their collectors, anyone, like people, like what I've told a number of interviewers, that it was a playground for everyone to, you know, you can go on a
Monkey bars.
monkey bar or a slide or whatnot, and have this and curate your own journey by in your own terms and your own means, in your own choices. And I think that's what's special with this, is that
Yeah.
you can, it's like a create your own adventure kind of book.
Nice. Bringing art into that kind of sphere.
And it's nice because you have legends amidst you, like Lydia Velasquez or Charlie
Imagine.
Co.
My goodness.
And then you have street artists like Bark and Dime, and we have Canadian artists from Canada, from their names are William Higginson and Olga Rebalco. And then you have also A.G. Sanyo and Bowie Meneses. Bowie is not even an artist by profession. He's a musician, the bass player of Parokya ni Edgar. But they're all in the same space, painting together. No one's senior, no one's junior. I mean, you have Lydia and Anina.
Beautiful.
So they're,
Yeah.
and it strips
Nice.
that away. And it was refreshing also for the legends to immerse themselves in
that kind
you know,
of,
in that kind of manner.
yeah, very nice. And we also all the proceeds of the event went to Bicol for a cause close to your heart. How important is that
Oh, it's
to
very
you?
important. Well, when we've just celebrated my dad's 80th tribute, which
The-
pays homage to his origins and his legacy. And his origins were deeply rooted in Bicol, because that's our hometown.
I see. Which part of Bicol?
Kamalig, Albay, just by the foot of
Okay,
Mayon.
right.
And you know, after the devastating news, and just how the timing was, it seemed like I can't just turn my back on that, celebrating his origins, and then we
Yeah.
have this art event celebrating the water while people are drowning. You know,
The floods. My goodness.
and so this is something that speaks to me. And what's nice, because art has that power as well. And it created an opportunity for the artists to be participants of something greater than what they thought possibly of that event. And yeah, so all of the art sale proceeds that the foundation will receive will be allocated for the relief efforts through Angat Buhay.
Okay.
But
Good.
with VP Lenny and all her what's this, initiatives
Very
to
good.
help Bicol.
Yes.
And until now,
great to
like
know.
people don't realize some parts are still underwater. And everyone, you know, yes, it's something that I feel like it was more of a calling for us. It's the least we can do, definitely.
It's a good thing that you did, because it gives it even more meaning. Like, diba, you already created something very innovative and new for the art industry here in the Philippines, and then went in and did that too. So that's great. So what's next for the foundation?
Okay, so there's a bunch of things coming up next. We plan to create more avenues also for artists to experience, not just immersive art. I can't share more,
Right now, okay.
but we're also looking into expanding to be more inclusive also,
Yes.
with not just collectors but also families, and yes, we have a lot more in store for next year.
Okay.
We plan to Fifth Wall is gonna be continuous, so that's every year, and then hopefully we get to raise more funds for our Florence Biennale participants from the Philippines, because that's happening next year as well.
Okay, so
and it's
many
something
things.
we support.
Okay.
That's what we did last year.
And maybe another immersive art experience.
Yes, I mean, more public art spaces
Yeah.
is something that we want to create. You know, being immersed in art or experiencing art at a very small age is something that we find value in, because that's somehow what I went through growing up.
Yeah, it really shaped the way you made choices in your life as
Oh,
well.
for
right?
sure. And it's all thanks to art. And not a lot of people realize that it's everywhere. It's just, you know, finding the right time, the right space to experience it, and at the same time being able to contextualize.
And I think you're really helping, shift mindsets about how art should be viewed with the events that you are supporting.
I hope it does.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
hope it reminds collectors why they collect art in the first place.
And would you say that the art in the art world now is more vibrant than ever, or
I
has
think-
it? I mean, from your experience.
It's always been ever so changing.
Yeah.
I think all of the things that we experience in the art market, the art industry, is nothing but a reflection of the times, and I find that very wonderful. And there's a lot of opportunities, and there's just a lot more that can be done, and hopefully we take it one step at a time in our in our all small ways.
Yeah. So, Ayni, thank you so much for gracing Pairfect today.
Thank you so much as
Before
well.
we say goodbye, we'd like to invite you to talk to our viewers. Maybe you have some parting words, a message.
Yes. So all of the artworks from Immersive Art are still for sale, and some of the photographs as well. And you can subscribe to any of our social media or inquire via our email, which is immersiveart@searchmindscape.com. And hopefully we get to see you in our next events. And
We'll keep you updated.
thank you so much for having
Okay,
me.
so Ayni, thank you so much for sharing your incredible vision with us today. So it's clear that Search Mindscape Foundation is doing amazing work to reshape the art scene and create transformative experiences for both artists and audiences. We can't wait to see where your passion and creativity will take you next. So for those watching, if you haven't already, be sure to follow Search Mindscape Foundation's upcoming projects. You definitely won't want to miss what's next. So thank you for joining us here on Pairfect.
Thank you so much.
This has been Dinah Ventura. We'll see you next time.
This public service announcement is brought to you by Meralco.
Alam nyo ba kung saan napupunta ang binabayad nyo sa Meralco? Dito sa series na ito, isa-isahin natin yan para maipaliwanag ko po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Joe Saldariaga ng Meralco Corporate Communication Office. Alam nyo ba na pag nagbabayad kayo ng bill sa kuryente, nasa mga 20% lang on the average ang napupunta sa Meralco? Sa katotohanan, nahahati sa iba't ibang components ang inyong electricity bill. Kumbaga parang pizza lang yan. Kasama sa binabayaran natin ay ang generation charge na napupunta sa generation companies o mga nag-ooperate ng power plants, transmission charge na napupunta sa System Grid Operator ng Pilipinas, na National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, at iba-ibang charges na napupunta sa gobyerno. Tulad po ito ng mga subsidies, taxes, universal charges at fit-all. Kung tutuusin, tulad nga nabanggit ko, nasa around 20% on the average ang kabuang bill ang binabayad sa Meralco sa pamamagitan ng distribution charge. Ito na ang pinaka-epektibong sistema para sa electricity consumer. Iwas abala ito para hindi na isa-isahin pang bayaran ng iba't ibang kumpanya na dinadaanan ng kuryente. Naway, nabigyan linaw ko po kayo kahit papano sa inyong mga katanungan ukol sa inyong electricity bill. Hanggang sa muli, ako po si Manong Joe, ang inyong lingkod.
Utol, once just a colloquial term for a brother or sister, today the same term stands for a better option to your transportation needs. Unified Transport Operations League, or better known as Utol, was established to give you an alternative to ride-hailing, with the concept of availing the service with care and compassion, as if it was rendered by your own sibling.
Utol ka ba? Dito ka na. Utol ka, iingatan kita.
Now, who would you prefer to drive you home?
Utol ako, mangangalaga sa'yo.
Utol, the ride-hailing app to consider.